In this video, we're going to look at beetroot juice and its potential effect on performance. So we'll first look at why people think beetroot juice may actually benefit performance. Then we'll look at, is there evidence in actual athletes that it does work? We'll look at the negative effects it can have and how you can avoid those. And if you do decide to use it, what's the best dosage? How often do you want to take it and what volumes do you want to take it in? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Maryke. I'm one of the physiotherapists from sportsinjuryphysio.com, where you can get online physiotherapy assessment as well as treatment for your injuries. Have a look at the description of this video if you want a link to our website. Okay, so why do people think that beetroot juice may help performance? Well, beets in comparison to other vegetables is really high in nitrate. And when you eat nitrate or ingest nitrate, it increases the levels of nitric oxide in your blood. And typically the levels of nitric oxide will peak 2 to 3 hours after you've taken the nitrate. Now, nitric oxide in turn has been shown to help improve how well your nerves fire. It improves the conversion of glucose into energy, and it also improves the supply of oxygen and nutrients to the muscles because it widens the arteries and veins. So this all sounds pretty brilliant, and it should lead to better performance in sprinting as well as endurance and even help with recovery. But we know from other areas of research that just because it looks like something can work, it doesn't always show up in that way in practice. So we have to look at research that's done on athletes specifically with regards to this. If we look at research on actual athletes, there seems to be evidence that beetroot juice can help both improve performance as well as recovery. However, the results is a little bit mixed. There are quite a few large research review studies where they looked at all the research on the topic and tried to establish under what circumstances and for whom beetroot juice may help. And the results are quite inconsistent. And the problem with this is that they either studied different types of sport, or even when they studied the same type of sport, it was different activities within that sport, like for instance, endurance cycling versus sprint cycling. But then also within that, they studied different populations, like for instance, men versus women, elite athletes versus recreational athletes. So even if both studies studied sprinting in cycling, they could come up with some varied results there. So the take home of this is that it looks like beetroot juice likely will help performance and recovery, but we're not 100% clear who will benefit most from it and what the best way is to use it. But there are trends emerging, and I'll talk about what seems to be the best dosage at the moment. Now, the other important thing to consider when you're thinking about possibly using beetroot juice is to think about what negative effects it can have. And beetroot juice can actually have negative effects. So let's have a quick look at those. The least serious side effect that you can have or can get from taking beetroot juice is that your urine and your stools can turn red. So don't be alarmed if you go to the toilet and go, oh, what's going on in there? It's just the coloring from the beetroot juice likely. But the second side effect that it can have is a little bit more serious. So there is evidence that if you overdose on nitrates and take in consistently over a long period of time, you take more than a recommended daily dose, it may actually be carcinogenic. Now, carcinogenic means that it may predispose you to getting certain types of cancer. But it's worth noting, this is not taking high doses on 1 or 2 days. It's consistently using nitrate or overdosing on nitrate. So that's why it's also important when you look at supplements, and I'll talk about that in a minute, that you make sure how much is in that you make sure that you don't take too much at a time or for too long a period. Thirdly, you want to think about what other medications you're on, because there are certain medications like heart medications that can be affected by taking in nitrates. So it's really important that you actually check with your doctor before you take anything like this. And then lastly, taking beetroot juice and any type of supplement like this can upset your stomach. So it's really, really important to test it before you use it for competition, because otherwise you may end up actually messing up your whole competition day. I guess the take-home message here is, like with most things in life, more isn't always better. There is an upper limit to what you should be taking, and we'll discuss that in a minute. and that you should test these things before you take it so that you're sure about how it will affect you. Okay, so you've weighed up the pros and the cons of beetroot juice and decided that, yeah, you'll give it a go. So let's look at how much you want to take and how often you want to take and when you want to take it. In the research studies, they used a dosage that usually varied between either 350 milligrams and 500 milligrams of nitrate per dose. Now, this is milligrams, not grams. There's a big difference. You'll overdose if you use grams. They used either one shot as a single shot or one shot on several days running, or 2 shots per day spread several days, hours apart. And the supplement that they used most often was Beetroot shots. Now, this is also the only one that I found on Amazon actually that had the recommended daily allowance, or was within those limits. It has 400 milligrams of nitrate in it. Most of the supplements and powders I looked at had massive amounts of nitrate in it, and you will definitely overdose if you use those. So make sure that whatever you use, you really check what's in it so that you don't end up overdosing. Also be careful of preparing your own beet juice. I know people like doing fresh products often, but the problem with beets is you have no way of knowing what the concentrate of nitrate is in them, and it varies quite a lot depending on the soil they're in and the whole growing process. So it's really easy to also either overdose or underdose on that. Just a tip for any supplements you may buy online, there's no organization that actually regulates them. It's not like medication where they have to have what they say they have. And often they can contain things that you don't expect them to have. So make sure that you buy a reputable brand whenever you buy anything like that. And you're looking for nitrate, not nitrite. They are different things. So nitrate with an A is the one you want. Nitrite with an I is the one you don't want. So just check for that as well. With regards to when to take it, the best is to take your last shot 2 to 3 hours before you actually have to perform, because that way your body has enough time to absorb the shot. Also, keep in mind, if you're going to use any antibacterial mouthwashes or things, that can affect how well the beetroot juice or the beetroot juice is absorbed, because part of that process already starts in your saliva. So in the research studies especially, they told their participants to not use any antiseptic mouthwashes shortly before they took the beetroot juice. But yes, so if you're doing a single shot, then it's 2 to 3 hours before. If you're doing multi-day, you do 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon or the evening, and then the last shot you take before the competition is again 2 to 3 hours before you compete. Brilliant! Hope you found that useful. Now remember, if you need more help with an injury, you're welcome to consult one of the team via video call. The link to our website is in the description of this video. Take care!